Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos speaking at a conference this afternoon saying he is, quote, super confident his company will end up the winner, but shareholders don't seem too excited about the deal. Netflix stock has lost nearly 12% in just last week. So how do we trade this here? On Friday, we had the dynamic where we had the two bids. We didn't have a higher offer from Paramount Skydance yet. And you guys were wondering, since you're both in WBD, why isn't WBD higher?
Well, why weren't my options moving? And so I'm long calls and the stock, and I added the calls, sometime early last week when I sensed that this was going to be a bidding war. And obviously, there is an element in terms of the shares where there's some part of this that's still going to probably hang open until we don't know where this is going to go. We don't know where the Warner Brothers board will decide. We don't know where the regulators will be. So there's that period where my January 16 expiry might actually run out of some steam. And ultimately, there's so much value that you can try to break down in the company. I actually think this deal, I think the Paramount offer is clearly, the P-Sky offer is clearly superior. I do think it's fascinating to hear, we've got, Warner Brothers, basically saying we've got support of the board, Paramount saying we've got support of the president. And you have a lot of different dynamics here in terms of also just what are they really valuing the core business for, or the streaming business, I should say, and that of the entire company. Right. Because it seems like there's a almost $6 billion valuation for something that the David Ellison is saying is, we're putting $1 of value on that in terms of a share price.
What do you call, Karen?
Risk arbitrageur. It's a French word. Yeah. Not risk arbitrageur.
So it's 27 and, it's not trading up to 30.
It's not trading up to 30.
It speaks volumes, I think, in terms of how this deal is being perceived.
Yes, but it's not. I think what it is, the nuance is the time to close is so long, right? So nobody knows how long it'll be. And we got a bunch of, potential antitrust for either side. I understand the Paramount argument. The Paramount thinks they have the upper hand in that regard. But so you have a long time to go. That generally doesn't trade well. ARBs are very short-term focused. And so I think that I don't think it's over. I think that the background to the offer, which was a super interesting Paramount's view of what happened and how they were sort of shunted to the side, I thought it was really interesting. The one thing I would argue is they said they didn't even let us come with our best and final. I don't know why they didn't come up with their best and final at the time where all the bids were due. I mean, in the UK, if you say best and final, you have one shot. That's it. And so that was sort of interesting to me. I think Netflix, they come back with something. And I think what they can do, we now see their stock is trading below the bottom of the collar, means that deal is not worth quite as much as they said. So that's a weakness in their deal. But they're Netflix. They can put a wider collar on. They can put up more shares. They could do a lot of different things. I think we'll see them come back. And then obviously if Paramount had said, well, we didn't even come with our best and final, we know they have more there. So I think it's going to play out kind of slowly, though.
Yeah, I don't know if $30
is January. I don't know.
Is the ceiling here, but it's a short-term ceiling. So then you say, what's the risk reward? So $2.50 to the upside, so it's at 10%-ish. Downside, this started at about $18. I don't think it's going back to 18, but could you see it in the low 20s again? Yeah, if some of the rhetoric around this heats up in terms of people backing away, yeah, it could happen. I think Netflix is the play, though. And you look at Netflix now traded 2 times normal volume. You're getting it at a valuation you probably haven't seen in a while. I think a lot of the concern about growth is sort of dismissed or now in the stock. And I think that whole concern about them buying WBD and maybe having to pay up, I think that's more than in the stock now. So I think Netflix, given the fact that we traded down to the prior all-time high in February and seemingly are holding, is interesting to me.
You agree, Court?
Yeah, well, I think what it's going to come down to is what are the cable channels really worth? And I think that's what people are trying to figure out here, because if they are worth more than $2.25 a share, then it makes more sense for Netflix. But what Paramount is arguing is it's not worth that, in which their deal is actually better, and they have better regulatory approval process, so they say. But I think it's also pretty interesting here because when you take a look at it, HBO subscribers have a really large overlap with Netflix. So there actually could be some cost dis-synergies there. That is it actually worth Netflix to get this deal? And I think that's what people are questioning right now. So I think a lot of people are actually favoring Paramount, though I think we're going to have to see how it plays out.